Hey everyone, this is Coach Phoenix.
And I'm Coach Gina.
And this is Toast with the Coaches. Cheers.
Cheers. Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Perspective, the show where we drink and talk about life, the universe, and all that other jazz.
And again, I'm Coach Phoenix, founder and CEO of Role Model Life Coaching, where we focus on life transitions. At Role Model Life Coaching, we partner with our clients to help them down the road of life towards their model self. And by the way, I know this is a global show, so I can help you in South Africa as well. I know the roads is different, but it's the same of the road of life.
Accurate. Yeah, both Phoenix and I are absolutely globally available. If you need help, hit us up. So I'm Gina Erickson. I'm a certified life coach and founder of Clear Focus Coaching. I specialize in boundaries coaching, setting limits with those around you so you can make space for yourself. I also specialize in empowering women. I help women to recognize their strength and potential in work, life, and relationships so that they can face every day with confidence and intention.
So without further ado, I am excited about this episode. So this episode will be our second global, international, abroad recording with a wonderful and amazing woman. So at this time, I would like to raise a toast. I would like to raise a toast to a queen from the motherland, and insightful, inspiring, wise, young, vibrant, well-traveled, millennial, ladies and gentlemen, South Africa owned woman with a mission, Lerato Pakkies. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so much for joining us today, or
You're welcome.
In your case, this evening.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
Definitely. Lerato, can you tell the listeners and the viewers exactly where you're located?
So I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa. And as we said, it's 9 p.m. right now. It's almost bedtime for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate you, you being able to accommodate us. So thank you. So Gina, have you ever been to Johannesburg, South Africa?
I have not. I have some close friends who have who grew up in South Africa, and some friends who have been to Ghana. But other than that, no, don't know too much about it.
That's funny.
You just got an invite, Gina.
That is definitely an invite. And,
after the coronavirus lifts, I will take you up on that.
And hold on, Lerato, we did some research on you. You actually also, outside of your women empowering mentor and keynote speaking business, you are also a travel agent, right? You have a huge and successful travel agency company in South Africa.
Yes, I do. It was founded in 2017. I actually do custom curated travel packages internationally and locally. So if you're looking for a safari package, basically just to come and see the wild animals, lions, everything, I'm your girl. And so we go across. We also host girls trips locally and globally. Just before the pandemic, we actually went to Bali, the north side of it. So I usually actually curate according to hidden gems. So it's not really your normal places. Like even in Bali, it wasn't the normal Bali that everyone goes to. So I know for your hidden gems in the north of Bali, we went to a place called Kubutambahan, and not many people know it. So yeah. That's basically what I'm about. And so we do Tanzania. I know a lot of people love Zanzibar.
Yeah, I want to go to Zanzibar. That's one of the countries I definitely, that's on my to-do list. So I know that you mentioned your women's so your travel agency, you mentioned your retreats, your women retreats. I know that ties in. So you use your travel agency with your women empowerment business. And I think that's absolutely genius. Not just from an entrepreneurship and business standpoint, but just makes sense to allow women to not just stay local, but to see the world and empower each other while doing it. So I think that's awesome. And that's a great concept.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah. Yeah, being able to have different experiences, I think, with different people, and to kind of expand your horizons and realize what else is out there is definitely something that's empowering. You know, sometimes you just get stuck in your own little rut when you're in the same place. So that's absolutely brilliant.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it is. So speaking of empowerment, Gina, let's get right to it. Let's stop playing games. Gina Lee. So you are a woman empowerment mentor and speaker, right?
Absolutely.
And I know our listeners and viewers is probably asking themselves, like, why did we go all the way to South Africa to find a woman empowerment speaker and mentor? So this is the reason why we did that, viewers, audience, listeners. We did that because in researching this particular topic, we came across Lee's platform. And Lee's platform is inspiring and enlightening because she has a unique and impactful approach to transitioning through separation and divorce. So without further ado, Lee, can you let everyone know exactly what it is that we saw in you and that what you were trying to push and spread to the world?
All right, so Lee on Instagram has probably a dozen of handles, but the most prominent one is Feminine Palcitude. And that was founded in 2012 after a relationship I was in for about 5 years. And so what sparked it was where to from the breakup. Because I think a lot of us, we cry, we weep, we don't know what to do post the breakup. And for me, it was more of a motivation for me to be the best version of myself post the relationship in order for me to be the best for the next relationship. But however, before the next relationship, the most important relationship I had to build was a relationship with myself. So that's where it started. I was like, how about I actually date myself, find out who I am, what I'm about, in order for me to accommodate for the next person. Because in order for you to pour yourself out, you have to flow from within. So whatever it is that is within you, you have to discover. And what better way than to date yourself? So everything that you would do basically in a relationship, you have to do for yourself. Mm-hmm. So you buy yourself flowers, you take yourself on dates, so that's how it was founded, Feminine Palcitude. And I started writing posts, I remember. So instead of writing those bitter posts of how men are trash and whatever we call it, I was like, no, let's rather change the scenario. Really, it's not about that. It's not about the next person hurting you, but it's about you empowering yourself in order to be the next person.
Like the things that you can control. Don't focus on the things you can't control. Focus on the things that you can't control, right?
Absolutely.
I wanted to stop you there and just rewind a little bit, right? So you have this great approach that you came up with and you start to empower women to focus on themselves rather than others. But how did that journey... How did you come across that journey? Like what personal experience that you had to bring you to the point where you felt like this was a need?
So my breakup was quite hard. I was dating towards getting engaged and married, and it was a whole plan ahead. And I think then obviously you do a lot of reflection even during the relationship that you are in. To say can
you go a little more in detail? Can you tell us about the relationship, like what kind, like how y'all meet? Just quickly about the, just kind of really understand.
Okay, great. Yeah. So we met in after varsity. So basically, before the relationship, I had set boundaries for myself. In university, it was all about studies, no boys, no nothing. And after obviously graduating, then you're like, okay, I'm easing into this whole relationship thing. And that was my first relationship, basically.
So university, so you said after university is college, correct?
College, yeah.
So after college, so you wasn't dating boys, you was a virgin.
Absolutely.
So you wasn't doing any of that until after college.
Yeah, I was like,
is that common for a South African woman, or is that Lerato values?
I think basically every family would like you to live a life like that. But I mean, in South Africa, it's broad. Like everyone really does their own.
Okay, so it's just like over here. Just,
so I think for me, it was just important for me to stay true to myself and to just stay focused, because I mean, we can get distracted when we're in college, and so I mean, for me, it was just set your boundaries now, and you'll do the rest. You'll enjoy yourself later. So I think that's where I was, and so then I meet him at a concert. So he wanted to exchange contact with me, and I said no, I refused. And he stalked me and found me on Facebook. So from there, we became friends and we started chatting. And obviously, I'm Christian and I go to church. And the only way to get me was to invite me to church. So I said, okay, well, I'll think about it. And obviously, it wasn't really that I wanted to think about it, but I was just trying to be hard to get. And finally we met, and the rest is history.
Lerato, I have a question for you and Gina. So why do women play hard to get? If you like a guy and the guy show interest and he likes you, why can't y'all just start that journey from that point? What's the hard to get part? Like, what do that do for you, for women?
Just so that we know that you're in it, to win it. And it's not per se, I think it's not because we're trying to really be like mean or hard, but it's just to say we want to be pursued as women. I mean, we just want to be pursued, and we want to see how far it is that you can really go and what sets you apart from every other guy. Because I mean, every day we are kind of a target to guys. People always want to ask you out, but we just want to see what's in it for you. Like, are you going to go the extra mile? What's different? What's unique about you? What are you bringing to the table?
What about you, Gina? What's your perspective?
I'm torn, because I agree. Because on one hand, it's like, okay, well, I might be interested in you as well. I am totally the kind of person to wear my heart on my sleeve. And so if I'm interested in somebody, they know that I'm interested in them. I'm usually the person to pursue somebody else, because that's just that's the kind of person I am. But I think I actually think that the hard to get thing is, for me, a negative thing that's put on women from society to be
I agree.
Virtuous and pure and pretend like you don't want a relationship, like you need to be like this, really naive and really innocent. And I think that aspect of it can be very damaging. But Lee, I hear your aspect of it, which I think can be a positive thing.
I was 21 then.
Full disclosure, I met my first husband when I was 17. I was married by 20. I was divorced by 22. I am now 5 years happily married to my second husband with a child. So very different story. But also I relate to what you're saying here, that I was young. There was things happening.
No. So from a man's point of view, right, and being the father of a beautiful young lady, I get it, right? Men are full of it, especially at a certain age. You say you was 21. Most individuals, not just men, women, they're not really thinking about relationship, marriage at that age. It's time to have fun. So you do have to have some type of armor on, and you don't know what's like who has good intentions and who has bad intentions, right? I get it. However, sometimes you could feel those emotions and you could feel that authenticity from someone, and like, man, this person really likes me. If you feel the same way, like, I don't see the need to try to make someone earn a certain level of your respect, because are you doing that to them? Is it going both ways? Why should they court you more than you court the guy? I feel like we should be courting each other, or just letting armors go and trying to get to know each other from a genuine and relaxed place without all the tension and all the armor. That's just my perspective.
So to add, he was a musician, so that means he's kind of famous. And for me, I think that was I can't just be any other random guy.
So he had groupies.
Yeah, he's been to like all across Europe and stuff. So so I mean, for me, it was like, I need to understand who you are, and I think it was also just showing him that I'm not about your fame. Because I remember, I think the first conversation we had, I was like, and you are? And he says, I'm Sabu, a drummer. And I was like, and what else do you do aside from that?
Yeah,
you know,
what else you do?
You know, I do this, I'm a musical. I was like, what else do you do? Give me something else, you know? And I think that's me playing hard to get per se. But I mean, he knew already. And I mean, there were vibes and, you know, we connected and whatnot. But I think for me, it was just really important to also set myself aside from everyone else, all the other women, and, you know, just show that, hey, I'm also here for a relationship, just to pursue something that's real, you know? Because it's kind of really difficult to be dating someone that's in the limelight already, you know, and having to prove yourself as well. So you have to kind of also be strong and, you know, yeah.
It's really interesting because in the States, there's a big thing on dating a baller, right? So in the United States, dating an athlete, dating a rapper, dating someone who got that clout is like is a success stories. Like women here aim, like when I grow up, this is the type of man or woman that I would want to be with. So interesting is what you say, like, hey, you're telling individuals like, hey, even in South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, that's all good. It sounds great, but dating someone in the limelight, you have to be strong because the other individuals is coming at them. Their head is this big.
Yeah.
To
be honest as well, I didn't really know how famous he was until I actually saw all the fans and everything. And I was like, heck, if I knew that this man was famous, I would have never dated him, because now it's so much more to kind of, you know, put ahead, like you kind of have to have this facade all the time that you're okay, you're strong, you're this, you're that, you know. And I wasn't really honestly ready for all of that. But I set my boundaries and I told him all the time, what are the parameters of this relationship? How far are we going? What's happening? I need to know all of that because I'm not in it just for now. I'm in it for the long haul. So what are we doing? Are we building? You know, so we had a lot. I mean, there were quite a lot of women, obviously, who would come at him. But I think when you're confident in who you are, it's kind of easy, obviously, but it gets to a point where it isn't. And how it gets to the point is when you know, as a woman, when you start being sexually active with someone, you then share a connection with the person and you're more vulnerable. So I think obviously then the insecurities either start to come in, especially when the woman start attacking you on social media, and you know, no matter how private you can be and keep your life. But
Lee, can you go? I heard something that was very interesting from a man's perspective. You said when a woman opens herself up sexually to a man, it starts to do what, and how did that connect with insecurities? How does sex and insecurities correlate?
So for a woman, when you sleep with a man, right, you become one. Like you just feel more connected, right? And obviously you're more vulnerable. And when you're more vulnerable, that's where the insecurities then start coming up, that, oh no. So when they're not spending enough time with you, then you start thinking, oh, is it another woman? You know, are you not good enough? Or you know, and as much as you can be strong in character, but it does get to you, especially when the person is famous, to say, you know. So that's when then obviously the walls then started just breaking down. And so it was on and off the relationship, but it was good. I mean, it was really honestly good, but then the bad was also really bad. And so I think it becomes toxic, obviously, when it's an on and off, you know what I'm trying to say? You're trying to figure it out and you're still fighting the world as well. It's not now you and the person against the world, but it's you against the person and the world as well. So I just...
it's crazy. Hold on. I like that. I like that saying, Gina. I have a saying in my relationship that I always say is us against them. You know, like if I'm thinking about you and you thinking about me, then we got each other covered. The energy, we are fighting with the world every day. We're trying to have to change ourselves every day. So when you're home and when you're with your partner, and Gina, I know you have the best perspective because like you're the only married one on this panel right now. You know, with your husband, when y'all like, you know, it's like I Am Captain Planet. When y'all powers combined, man, y'all untouchable. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, it's funny because in relationships, like I feel like that's true with any healthy relationship that you have too, be it your best friend or your husband or your children or your parents, like whatever relationship that you're in, when you build that bond with that person and you have respect for each other and you're working together on the relationship, it definitely is that. It's not you against each other, it's you against the problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, continue, Lee. Thank you, Gina.
So yeah, and then, I mean, over the 5 years, like I said, it was on and off. And at some point I was like, you know what? I can't. This is getting a little bit too much. And so 6 months before, well, then
so
things
hold on.
started.
Wait, I'm going to interrupt you there. What was kind of your breaking point? Because you're on and off, but like what was going on in that relationship that it was on and off? And what was your kind of like, I'm done breaking point? I want out of this.
Yeah. So it was mostly, obviously, we'd always fight about the girls, and it wasn't mostly the girls.
We call them groupies in America.
The groupies. For me, it wasn't so much the groupies; it was more his reaction to the groupies that bothered me. I mean, I would extend myself, and I would understand that he's in the limelight to the point where, I mean, I didn't mind taking pictures of him and some like the groupies or whatever. I didn't mind his reaction. I was very confident and very comfortable because, I mean, I had already chosen. And I think if you've decided that you're going to be with this person, you kind of have to make it work, whether you like it or not. You know, you can't now be upset because now there's a woman. I mean, I remember the one time when we were out with my parents and him, and there were groupies that came and, hey, Sabu, can we please take a picture with you? And he was like, no, I'm with my family. And I said, no, it's fine. I mean, you can really take a picture. And I think he appreciated those moments. But I think it also got to him where, you know, obviously, if a woman, I don't know, if a woman's attractive, you're also going to think, how about I do this? Or, you know, try it out, or, you know, behind her back. And I think it just got to me, honestly, to the point where I was like, you know, it's not so much the woman giving you attention, but it's your reaction. And that's why in the beginning I asked, what are the parameters of this relation that we have? So 6 months before the engagement, everything was said. Then I saw something on Instagram. So there was a woman. So because remember the feminine pulchritude was really doing really well. I had like 2,000 followers at that point. And
can I understand that a little bit more? The engagement. Yeah. I want to understand that a little bit more. So you knew that you would be engaged 6 months later? Because here people just like suddenly you're engaged.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
No, so over here, none of that. We don't have that. So over here, the guy needs to go to the girl's home and tell the parents, obviously give the blessing.
Approval. Yeah.
And so it's not really a surprise anymore. And yeah, so it's more like approval. And then there's obviously the customary law stuff, like where you have to pay a bride price before.
What price? You got to pay what? So hold on.
Bride price.
Even before you become my fiance, I got to pay for you? To who?
Absolutely.
Who gives this money? The government?
Okay. No, you and your family.
Oh, so I'm paying your family.
You got to save up. Yeah.
And how much money is that?
They raised her.
Yeah. Like in South African dollars.
Well,
like
it depends.
What's the minimum?
It depends. I mean, it depends on basically your education, whether you're a virgin, whether you have a child. That plays a huge role.
Oh, they rank you.
So
my daughter got a master's degree and she's a virgin. She costs $1 million. That's crazy.
No, and it's not really a money-making kind of whatever, but it's more so it goes towards the wedding, actually. Because
I understand, culture. Yeah, I'm just being a jerk. I understand.
And as far as I understand about bride price too, it's kind of like a reimbursement to the family for what they've invested into the life of the daughter as well, right?
Surely is.
So again, I'm just being a jerk. I think that's absolutely amazing, especially for a woman. I think a woman is a prize. They're the better half to every man. So that's the least that we could do to marry that special someone or our soulmate. So kudos to your coach, your country for keeping that up. Good question, Gina.
Thank you. So, so I mean, like I said, on Feminine Portraiture, I've got a whole lot of followers now, and this girl randomly follows me, and I mean, I follow back, and a picture pops up. This picture now is this girl that's naked in his bed. And yeah.
It pops up on your feed?
On my feed. It's not like I went and I actually dug for it, or no, it just pops up on my feed. So it wasn't so much that the picture bothered me. I didn't really care. What bothered me was the fact that she had his location on the actual picture. And not just that, he liked the picture. So it means that he was there, you know?
Wow.
I tell you, men are stupid everywhere. I told you.
Now, but I was heartbroken. Oh my word, my world was, I was in another world, honestly. I was super upset. I think for me, that was the last straw that could have been pulled.
Yeah.
So I was home. I remember I was home and I got up as quickly as. So I'm a very calm person in everything that I do. I never really, even when I'm upset, I usually just really calm. I'm calm. I don't really like, rave, and I know I don't do all of that. So I'm very calm. But I mean, at that point in time, I was like, no, this cannot be. And I think I just stood up, drove to his place, and I was there in a flash. And I'm like, open the gate. So he opens up. He's thinking, oh no, my woman's coming to check me and whatnot. And so he was with his friends. So I asked him.
Oh, so this was an old picture. So she posted. Okay. They wasn't together.
No, it wasn't an old picture. It was a picture taken yesterday, a day before.
The day prior. Oh, wow. Got you. So absolutely. Where do you think he was the day before?
So the day before, I was at my best friend's place. I slept over. And he said he's with the guys. So we had this thing off. So being the girlfriend that I was, so I had, I think in building a relationship with someone, you kind of understand that men have a man cave moment where they just want to, either be with the guys or just be with themselves and whatever.
Yeah, we call locker room moments over here. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So I was always open to that. So I was like, rather let me know as my man if you need time out. So just so that we don't, run into issues where it's like, oh no, I'm always with her and all of that. So it would be man cave Friday on a certain Friday, if he picks it, So I was like, okay, he's with the guys. And no, he wasn't with the guys. He was with homegirl.
The groupie.
So I then obviously rock up there, and I'm like, what's going on? You're actually really cheating on me. What's happening? And he's like, no, I'm not cheating on you. Why would you think that I'm cheating on you? So I show him the picture on Instagram. I'm like, this girl showed you that you're cheating on me. So he's like, no, that's not true. That's not me. I'm like, you know what? I would have easily not believed that, but the fact that she's got your location and you even liked the picture. So he literally said no, he denied everything. And I think for me, it wasn't so much him denying and whatnot, catching him out and all of that. But I think honesty is so important in building anything, and I think that was the last straw, because I'm thinking, if you don't come out right now and say, look, I messed up and whatnot, what are we building?
Okay, hold on. I got a question. I need both your perception, comments below, viewers, women. I need you to blow this up respectfully. Do women really be wanting to know the answer to that question? You know how women always say, like, if he would have told me the truth, it would have been okay. Is that real? Like, seriously, if he would have been like, hey, I've been smashing this chick for a year and I like it, but I still want to be with you. Could he have still been with you and y'all could have moved on for that?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something that I think I'm turning 30 this year, and I understand, and I keep telling every woman and every man that it's not cheating that breaks a relationship. It's values.
It's what? Values?
It's values, yes. If you don't value the same thing, if you don't value honesty, communication, if you don't value, like, those simple things, actually, those are the things that actually break a relationship.
I told you, ladies and gentlemen, I told you she's different. She is a different beast. Keep going. I'm sorry. I just had to. Keep going.
So at that point, I was like, you know what, if you can't be honest with me, this person that you're trying to build a life with, well, then, unfortunately, that's just, for me, you've just blew it. You've blown it, and I'm okay with it. And it was a very hard decision, very, very painful. But I think it was the best decision.
Got it.
Because
so you went to the gate. He was with his boys.
Yeah, he was with his boys, and so I said, you know what, I cannot be with you, and so I left, and so that was that.
I have to raise a toast to you on that one for being so empowered and emboldened that in your time of pain and heartbreak, you went and knocked on his door and was like, explain yourself.
Yes, raise a toast. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers to being empowered, even when things suck. Like, that's the hardest time to be empowered. And you were, and you're like, I'm going to do this because this is what I need to do for me, because I deserve better. And you saw it. You saw that for yourself, even in that dark, dark moment.
Absolutely. And I think closure doesn't come by us hoping for that glorious moment where we sit down and we're friends again, and where, you know, you make the closure. You either decide at that point in time that you are doing, because I think, as I said, we were back and forth all the time. So I had to put basically a stop to it. And it was at that point in time where I said, you know what, this is not going to happen again. This is the last time. The fact that you were not even honest with me, I think it just, all bets are now off. Like, not even, you can't.
I want to point out something about that too, because so my husband and I, before we got married, had a large conversation about this, because I'm bisexual, and my husband and I talked about it, because I was like, I'm marrying you, but it's very possible that I may want a relationship with a woman in the future. And so we talked very in depth about having an open relationship, or what that would look like for us. And what we came down to was, the thing about cheating is, the definition of cheating is breaking the rules. If you agree with the person, if you agree with the person,
raise the glass to that.
Raise a glass to that. Cheers.
Because if you have that honesty, if you have that trust, if you have that communication, and you lay out those boundaries and you say, these are the rules, and you're honest about it. My husband and I have talked, and we're like, you know what? I would honestly rather you say, I'm attracted to this person and I want to go on a date with them, than to sneak behind my back. Like, just be honest with me about how you're feeling. Sometimes you find out that actually you're not even into that person. You're just like feeling lonely, and you actually want to go on a date with your wife or your husband.
Yeah.
And that ends up, you know, just opening up that pathway.
Attention. Exactly.
Yeah. So just being able to have that conversation in general just makes that relationship so much stronger and healthier, I believe. So thank you so much for putting that out there, because 100% agree.
I 100% agree too. And that was great feedback, Gina. But I want to defend our men. And I want to say that, ladies, women, Gina and Lerato, for a man, we could do that, right? It's initially, especially in the beginning, it's easy for us to just be ourselves. And normally women allow us to be ourselves. But I feel like, and fellas, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, respectfully. I feel like at a certain point, women start to have certain type of expectations and try to drive us to a point where they want us to look through life through their lens. And in doing so, when we tell them things like, hey, I like to do this sexually, or I like to do this, it's like, oh, that's weird, or oh, I'm not doing it. That put us, because men are prideful, and with that masculinity comes that pride, and we start to then go into a hole, and that's where the lies come in. So if you ever make a man feel like he's uncomfortable sharing his truth, more than likely you're going to get one chance of that, and then that's when he becomes a liar, because it's not that he wrongfully don't want to tell you something, is you put shame on him. He start to feel ashamed of his truth. I.e., if some men that be like, hey, I think I might like guys, you should be able to tell your wife that.
Yeah.
And like you said, Gina, based on what y'all just said, a guy, she should be like, yo, go try that, or be like, yo, I'm not really with it, and y'all should be having a conversation, but it shouldn't be like, oh, you like that? I want a divorce. Oh, you like that? You're weird. You get what I'm saying? It should just be a conversation where, go ahead.
To add, I think what's important is the fact that Gina said they had a lengthy conversation prior, right, Gina, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. So I think for me, timing is important, number one. And there's three things that I believe in: emotional maturity, emotional integrity, and emotional intelligence. I think all of them are important when you are laying your, what do we call it? We call it deal breakers. in society. And like when you're saying that you only get one chance for a man to say it, it's when you say it that's important. And because some men choose to carry it through to the marriage, and then they only mention it when it's happened. So that's why the expectations now, there's an imbalance in terms of expectations. And that's where maturity, emotional maturity comes in that you need to be honest from the onset and say, listen, this is what I'm about. Because when you're in love with someone, you need to be honest from the onset. So meaning you're telling this person that, listen, this is what I'm about. You might not like this. It might not be comfortable in conversing with the person. But I think love accepts. Through and through, whoever loves you needs to understand who you are, what you're about, what you do. And that's a deal breaker at that point. If that person cannot accept you for who you are, then it's honestly, there is nothing that you can build on from that point, because that's where the lies, the secrets and everything comes in. And then that doesn't make a relationship. And then in terms of emotional intelligence, it's the person receiving the information to say, okay, this is not about me. This is about the person that I am about to be in a relationship with. And how do I now navigate through this? And I think it's important for people that you can coexist in a relationship where you know that this person is doing this. You don't have to participate in that, but it's how you guys work together and you say, okay, this is who you are and this is where I am. And the expectations then are lessened when you are true to yourself. I think as women, we're hardly, and that's why I said the journey that I took was to dating myself, to finding out which side of the bed I love to sleep on. I mean, do you guys know which side of the bed you like to sleep on?
So hold on. So go through that process in detail. That's exactly what we lead it into. So start from that process. So you went to his house, you got clarity, you ended things. You was like, you know what? This is enough. This is the last straw. You broke my trust. I'm over. What was the next, and I don't know, explain how many years it took you to get to the point where you started dating next, but what was the next few years look like for you?
So the next few years looked like not loneliness, but being alone with self in order for me to reflect and understand what it is that I really want out of a relationship. And obviously, as I said, it stems from within. Who am I? Because you do attract who you are. And if you cannot pour of yourself, if there is no love in you, you cannot really expect to receive love. You know, if you can't give love, you can't receive love. So I was like, okay, right now where I'm at this point, I'm broken, and I need to heal. And I cannot. And broken people usually break other people. So I was like, I cannot afford to break the next person because that is not who I am. And so it means that it starts with myself healing from within in order for me to love the next person the correct way. Because sometimes we end up downplaying the next relationship or the next person pays for someone else's missteps, you know. So for me, it was truly important for me to take time to actually heal and to get to know myself, to get to understand what I really want. And you know, and I think it was a beautiful, honestly, it was a beautiful journey. Because
how do you do that? How do you do that? Like, what was that process look like? How did that process look like? Like, how would you tell someone else to emulate that if they're going through?
So like I said in the beginning, so it started with, okay, what are the things that I love when you are dating? You know, what are the things that I love as a person? Who am I? And what do I enjoy? What's my love language? And, you know, what do I love receiving from people? What do I love giving? Because sometimes you will never receive what you give, you know, in a relationship because of love languages and differences and all of that. So it started with me writing down, okay, what is it that I love? I love flowers. I love chocolate. You know, I'm simple and all of that, but I also love date nights. What do I love? You know, so I wrote everything down and I was like, how about I start doing this every week religiously? So I take myself on a date night.
So you wasn't dating actively. You was doing all this within self. You didn't need someone else to validate you.
So that when the next person comes, then I'm readily able to, you know,
wow.
give it out. And So absolutely, yes. So I would consciously go on a date. I mean, people will look at you weird, like, what the hell? Why is she alone? Dressed
The
up.
world has a problem with people being alone. Like you said,
Yeah.
it like you made the difference between being lonely and being alone. Because when people see people alone, they're like, oh, they're lonely. And it's like, no, you should really be comfortable with being with yourself.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And I think everyone was just like, you are so comfortable with yourself. I'd have book dates where I go and I read a book and I have my cake, or cake dates, whatever you name it, buy myself a bunch of flowers, and, you know, sometimes even either, you know, mail them to myself, whatever it is that I really love doing in a relationship. Exactly what I did. And I think that made me fall in love with myself again. It made me forgive myself, because most times we don't forgive ourselves in relationships.
He cheated on you. What was you forgiving yourself for?
For thinking that, you know, obviously, like I said, there's insecurities and stuff. So you'll start thinking probably at some point that, oh, maybe I did something that made him do, you know what I'm trying to say, do that, or so you start doubting yourself and stuff. So it's also forgiving yourself for ever thinking that you were to blame for anything at any point as well in the relationship. Because remember, I think it takes the same amount of time to get over someone that you were with someone most of the times, because it's all the scarring, it's all the scarring of all those years, those 5 years, the build up of everything that, you know, he would come back, I'd forgive him. But did we really sit down and really talk about it? And did I set boundaries? Did I, you know, what didn't I do? So it was me discovering all of those things, writing them down. This is what's not going to happen in the next one. And it's not to say that it's going to be difficult for the next person, but it's making it easier for me to see this is what I want. This is how I want to be treated. And this is how we're going to deal with things. We're not just going to sweep them under the carpet. We need to talk through everything to make sure that, you know, we are emotionally intact together. You know, we are together in it.
Can I ask you, because I'm just really curious that you had this relationship. It was a long-term relationship. I think you said 5 years that you were in this relationship. And you were young, and when this relationship ended, you then moved into this kind of self-care, self-healing space. And most young people don't make that choice. It's called a rebound relationship for a reason. Like, most people just jump to the next thing and use that next person for that healing process. So what went through your mind? Like, how did you come to that, saying this is what I need to do, and choosing I would venture a more healthy path to that discovery?
Like I said in the beginning, I was intentional. Remember, I asked him what the parameters of our relationship were. So in everything that I do, I'm always intentional. And I think for me, it was for the long haul. So for me, it's a matter of, it's not just a breakup. This was meant to be forever. It was heading that way, you know, and it meant that much for me to kind of take time to self and give myself time. And I mean, as I said, I'm very intentional in everything that I do. I think even in school, I'm just a perfectionist. Unfortunately,
so part of who you are.
Lack of a better word. I just always want to either, in everything that I'm in, I'm 100% in. You know, so it meant really that much to me to really spend time and to understand and figure out. Because, I mean, I was 21 when I started dating this person, and I was like, did I really understand, you know, and all of that. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to give myself time. And sure enough, I mean, so I dated myself for a year. And then after the year, it's then that I started going on dates. Okay. But even on those dates, there were boundaries there. No sleepovers, no such nonsense, you know, like young youthful things.
Oh, so you was kind of, so not only were you dating yourself, you was considered like, what's the word? Celibate?
Celibacy. Yes. So that's exactly.
For how long? How long did you do that for?
So we broke up in 2015, and I think the next encounter I had was 2019, December.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 2015 to 2019?
That was 4 years.
So 4 years. So the first year you dated yourself. No dates, no boys at all, right? That's the process. So in the next 3 years, go ahead. So the first year 2, you started dating guys, not having sex because you didn't have sex the year 4. But start from year 2. What happened? You started going on dates, and what was the purpose of that if you wasn't going to like actually, take it to that level?
So you don't need to be in a relationship to take it to that level.
Obviously, yeah, but that's just part of a relationship, especially in today's society, which you all being millennials, that's part of your culture.
So let's take it back. Like I said, remember, as a woman, when you have a sexual relationship with someone, you become vulnerable. So for me, it was very important to be able to sift the temporary people and the permanent people. So the only way, because I know that when I give of myself, I give everything. So that's going to be my weakness. And obviously, as soon as I give it up, then homegirl is a gone girl. So I was like, what do I then do to stay intact? Emotionally, like I said, the 3, emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, and, so I was like, integrity. So I was like, we're not going to do that. And believe you me, there were quite a lot of men who were willing to actually stick it out. However, it also helped me. It was protecting me as well, because even those that stuck it out, they were kind of frauds, because some of them were married and they didn't mention it to me.
You said married? Are you serious?
Absolutely.
So they said they was going to stick it out. So how long did you dated the married person, and then you found out?
I dated it for a good 1.5 years, I think.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're awesome, so I'm not surprised that someone would date you for 1.5 years. That's not my surprise face. My surprise face is that he kept that a secret for so long.
That's why he probably was okay with not getting the cookies, because he was getting it from his wife. He probably just really liked you, so it was more of a emotional relationship.
Yeah, because there was an emotional, absolutely, attachment between us. And I mean, even afterwards, he apologized for it. He was like, he really honestly got attached. He thought that I was just going to be a passerby, but clearly I'm an amazing person. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm an amazing person. Obviously, we were bound. So and I think it was important for me as well, to wrap it up. It was really important for me to get back to where I was before I met the man that I thought I was going to marry. So that's why I said it really took a lot of time to invest in myself again, to kind of be conscious about who I am, and to be queen conscious. When you're queen conscious, you need to date intentionally all the time. There's no way that you're going to miss the step, and there's no room for that, because in this world, in the society that we're living in, unfortunately, it's not worth missing a step, because once you miss it, I mean, especially here in Africa, there's a high rate of things like AIDS, HIV and stuff. So you kind of have to look out for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people if someone is dishonest about marriage, imagine about their status, So for me, it was really important for me to just take care of myself, because if you don't look out for yourself as well, no one else will.
Absolutely. Hold on, I have a question. Yeah. So if you would give that advice based on your journey, if you would share that advice with other women, not only in Africa, but in America and across the world, is there a time limit on when they should, date themselves? Because it sounds like your process was 2, right? First, know yourself by dating yourself, and that took you 1 year. And then the second part was start to date without sex, date to understand what it is that you want and what you need. So what is that journey when you empower other women or give that advice to other women? How would they perceive that, and how would they receive that message? What does that length look like, or what would be your advice to them?
Look, it all goes down to, as I said, knowing yourself and appreciating your journey, because you can't just. It was hard. Let me tell you. The celibacy part was really hard, because especially when you're coming from a relationship where you were intimate with this person, everybody needs a little bit of testosterone. And so it was like more discipline, it took a while. But I mean, I would tell every woman that your journey, stay true to your journey. Not everyone can be celibate. And it's important for you to know exactly. And like I said, I decided to be celibate because I knew that was my weakness. And then it would make it difficult for me to kind of see whether someone has good intentions or not. So for someone else, it might not even need celibacy. I think it's important for you to stay true to yourself and be queen conscious in everything that you do when you're dating. Be queen conscious. You are a queen. You deserve to be treated like a queen. You know, a queen needs to take time. You need to take time to know a man. And I think I wrote a couple of pointers to have a queen conscious mentality, right? So queens never ignore a man's proven
Hold on. Is this your mindset? Is this your philosophy? This queen mindset? All right, so everyone, this is Queen Mindset by Lerato, South Africa, one and only Johannesburg's best. Go ahead.
Okay, so you should never ignore a man's proven character, right? Queens never drive the momentum of the relationship. Stop pursuing. Be pursued. And when I say that, I remember Phoenix did say that you also want to be pursued, right? But
I love being pursued. Yeah. I think I'm a prize, just like the woman is a prize. So
no, but what I'm trying to say is that the leadership, it's okay for you. I'm okay. I'm all open as well for showing someone interest, but I want to be led. So queens are led by the king, right? That's where I'm coming from with it. So I just had to have a disclaimer there that no, I don't mean that, we shouldn't pursue.
Don't pursue back at all. Yeah.
Keep going. I like this philosophy.
Yeah. So queens never trust without verifying. You know, need to take.
Hold on. Wait. Say that again. I think that's a really impactful one. Never trust.
You never trust without verifying. So you need to take your time, and with time, things show themselves. They reveal themselves. So it's really important. And I think that's why I say timing is everything. Like you need to give yourself time, give time, you know, and that's the only way that can really show you a person. And queens never commit to potential alone. Oh, dangerous. You cannot fall in love with potential. There has to be action to it. I think that's what I always tell every woman. You cannot fall in love with someone who's still 5 years ago said, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is where I'm going to be at. You're still saying you're going to do it. Why aren't you doing it? You know, and I think it goes in every, not just financially, physically as well, not just financially, physically, emotionally. You know, potential means that we're working together. You and I are together in this, so we're moving ahead at the same pace as well, you know, because sometimes someone can lag behind physically. Let's say example, you know that someone wants to lose weight and you're trying to help this person 5 years ago and they have gained so much weight now, but you can't. So that's like you are in love with potential. That's someone's potential. They keep saying they're going to do something that's toxic as well, but they're not even, you know, they're not even anywhere near their goal. Yeah. And emotionally as well. I think you need to be compatible with someone emotionally. You need to be both mature. You need to be intelligent. You need to be available as well. That's the most important thing, because sometimes we attract emotionally unavailable people. And I think that's why, also going back to my journey, when you've been broken, you are emotionally unavailable. So for me, it was like, I would be unfair to the next guy if I would date them, because I'd be emotionally unavailable. And that's one of the things that I don't want. I want someone who's all for me, emotionally available. So that's also important. And then number 5, queens never finance a grown man. Just saying.
Hold on, wait. Let me go back to number 5, man. That's a big topic, man. What do you mean by that? Explain that. What do you mean finance? So is it 50-50? Do you mean the man is like, your money is my money, and my money is my money?
No. So out here in South Africa, you can have a man who you are working for the man, and the man is like staying home and not doing anything. Oh. So, yeah.
We call that a bum ass ninja. That's a bum ninja, man. That's a bum ninja.
So that's where I'm coming from with it. You can't afford that. I think also in relationships, sometimes we tend to think that money isn't important. Money is just as important as love and sex are, I think. So, I mean, if one of us is not really doing anything about it and we're just potentially sitting there and waiting for 5 years later, again, I mean, it can really make or break a relationship, money. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think those are topics that we usually try to shy away from, or downplay and say, no, money isn't everything. It is everything, you know. So yeah.
Hold on. Before you move on, I'm sorry, and we're going to recap so everybody can write that down, but I want to stick on this topic really quickly. And Gina, I want your perception as well. So the reason why I stopped you on this particular topic is because I know, speaking to, like you mentioned earlier, man cave talk, locker room talk, men and barbershop talk, right? So barbershops is when men get to our time to have that conversation. So a topic of discussion that's prevalent within the man community is that men are taught. So women, it's 2020, and women say, hey, women rights is like we're equal, right? We're just like a man. We want to get paid the same and everything else, right? I agree. Women rights is important. However, when it comes to relationship, that means from your perspective, Lee, the whole courting situation, we should be courting each other. So if I pay for date one, right? Because women go first, I'm going to pay for you because I'm courting you. But date two, shouldn't you pay? And then vice versa. Shouldn't it be a 50-50 thing?
No, I want to take a shot at this because
I want to hear your perception from your world.
I want to, before Lee jumps in, because I think I get what she's saying, and what she's saying is it is equitable. That if a man was to date me, and I was like, hey, awesome, be my sugar daddy, and I'm just gonna sit by the pool in a bathing suit and like eat sushi all day. That sounds great. Like that's not great. Like that's not a really healthy relationship. And vice versa. If I was to do that for a man and he was like, cool, I'm just going to sit around and like watch football with my dudes all day while you go and work and you like, do these things. The two people have to be equally invested in the relationship, emotionally, financially, sexually, all of these things, like all of these areas have to be covered. That's what I'm hearing saying, not that you as a woman are not financially responsible in the relationship. It's that you can't be the only one financially responsible.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying, Lee?
So, yes, 100%. And I think also,
I got to stick up for the men, man. I'm surrounded. I don't know if the Zoom, if the recording. So right now, the way we're recording, I'm in the middle. So it's like I'm saying, it's like a double teaming me. I'm looking up, looking down. You know what I'm saying?
We're on your side, Phoenix. We're on your side. We're talking about building healthy relationships for men and women. We're all in this together.
No, I get it.
Let me tell you, my sister always says I'm an advocate for men, actually, because I'm always on the men's side. So my thing is, with feminine pulchritude as well, the movement I started, it wasn't so much just the woman, but it was mainly focused on, if you change a woman's mind, you're able to change a man. You're able to persuade a man as well and influence a man in some way. So more like changing a toxic woman in order to influence a man.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just, it's not solely just
because women are our backbone. So we have, if you were building strong women, thus it will build strong men because we rely on strong women. Women are our backbone. So I think that's awesome. So going back to number 6, I'm sorry. Oh, Gina, you have something?
I wanted to go back to number 4 because what you were saying was falling in love with potential. And Phoenix, you mentioned this earlier about, at first men are allowed to kind of be themselves in a relationship. And then later on, women are like, well, no, you can't be. I think that there's, especially in America, and tell me if it's in South Africa as well, that there is this cultural idea that you find a man that is like 60% of the way there, like he's decent, and then you can fix the rest. So at the beginning of the relationship, like it's great and it's fine because it's like, oh, I can fix that. And as the relationship goes on, the woman starts to realize he's not changing. Why is he not changing? And then things just break down because you can't change someone else. No matter who you are, you can't change someone else. So I think that was a very important point. Number 4, I really like that one because Phoenix, I think it played into exactly what you were saying.
Absolutely.
So sorry, number 5, number 6.
Yeah, number 6.
Number 6. Queens never cater to a man that hasn't dedicated himself to her. So you aren't required to submit to a man that isn't intending to love you. I believe that it's important to understand that a woman can submit only when she's loved. So if a man loves me, I'm able to submit more easily. So I think it's important for you as a queen to never cater to a man that hasn't dedicated himself to love you. So you can't be giving husband privileges to a boyfriend, basically. And I think that's obviously open to interpretation, but I think that's the most important thing, knowing that when I'm dating you, it means I'm dating you, and you shouldn't expect more than what you are giving as well. So that's my number 6. So number 7 is queens never tolerate disrespect. And I think this is the most important thing. So I spoke about values. Values are what break people. And I think when I say disrespect, I mean name calling, I mean raising your voice, and I mean, like we mentioned, cheating over and over again. Those are things that they show you how much someone values you and honors you. You need to demand honor because you deserve it as a queen, and as a king as well. And I think it's not just queen conscious mentality. I think it's also king conscious mentality. I always say, as much as we always say a man should not do this, a woman should also not do that. How about a woman also respect a man? How about a woman also honor a man? He deserves it, and cater to the man. And so just flip it. Wherever I've written queen, king, a king should never ignore a woman's proven character, because we also can be quite a package. So
humans, we're complicated.
Really? Women?
Yeah, complicated.
No way.
So
I love those. Do you mind, because we interrupted you several times with those, do you mind running through them again, just really quick, so the audience can have that solidified in their mind? Because I think those
Yes, get your pencils and paper ready. She's about to go over them real quick. Number 1.
That's one. Queens never ignore a man's proven character. Number 2, queens never drive the momentum of the relationship. Number 3, queens never trust without verifying. So you take your time. Number 4, queens never commit to potential alone. 5, queens never finance a grown man. 6, queens never cater to a man that hasn't dedicated himself to her. 7, queens never tolerate disrespect.
Those are impactful.
Can I just cheers to that? Because I love everything about that list.
Yes, that list is strong. That was an excellent way to hit them with the ending. And here's the process, and this is how you do it. Cheers.
Amazing. And I'm planning on continuing my queenship with those gems of wisdom. I love that.
So Coach Gina, as a married woman, what do you think about those values? And is that something that you think you possess?
Yeah, honestly, I think so. I very similarly, ended my first marriage and worked on myself to figure out what my boundaries were, and having clear communication and honesty, and worked on having those things. And so I think that all 7 of those items are kind of founded on those values of that trust and that honesty and that maturity. So yeah, I mean, obviously definitely not perfect by any means, and there's areas of growth, but I think that I can check off each one of those for sure. And equally my husband, I think that he, as the king, I think he checks each one of those as well. So I feel very fortunate.
Thank you for that. Thanks. Hey, Lee, coming from a man's perspective, man, I think that that defines what I'm looking for in the queen. That message that you're pushing for a queen to be. A man should never disrespect a woman. So a woman that allow a man to disrespect them, I think all men would say, that's not wifey material. We're not going to wife that. If you allow me to do that, that shows something about your character. So I think what you're saying is true. And I think, and men, let me know if I'm wrong, I think men could appreciate that. And that's the type of woman we're looking for. So cheers to you again.
Yeah.
Encore. Yeah, definitely.
So many cheers in this episode. It's just so good.
Yeah, dropping gems. So Lee,
I'm just about done with my class.
I know. So outside of empowering women in retreats and in your keynote speeches, what else you have going on? Because you're an entrepreneur in your own. I know you mentioned your travel business. Can you just shed some light on what you got going on and what's next for you?
So I'm officially called the ambassador of fun. So I'm going to be hosting.
That's a great title.
Right? Yeah, so we've got a couple of girls trips planned out. We are going to be heading to Mozambique. We're doing another Europe trip. Hopefully, obviously, with this COVID madness, when it's over, we are planning to come to the US as well. So we're hoping that you can accommodate us.
Yeah, you got to come visit us both. What spots in the US you're going to hit up?
Definitely Georgia, and San Fran.
Nice.
And yeah, hopefully the Caribbean, we'll see, but yeah, we are excited. I mean, there's quite a lot, but something very amazing and close to my heart, I will probably be opening a safari very soon. Lodge.
What?
Yeah.
Cheers to that. That's amazing. A safari. Cheers to that.
Wait, is this like fulfilling all of my Lion King dreams ever? Like, is it?
Yes. Yeah. So you're invited, Gina.
Do Gina and I get a a complimentary stay?
You're not a girl, Phoenix.
But I mean, I'm endorsing the empowerment of women, through the show. So we can actually host a show there. Gina, I'm thinking about us together.
Oh, okay. Then you're invited.
Yeah, I'm an ambassador for women.
That's fair. No, that sounds absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I think the main focus as well is to attract a lot of international travelers, because I do work with quite a lot of cruise lines, especially Carnival mostly, and I know that there were quite a lot of people that I met there, and they said, look, we want to do a safari. So I was like, how about I bring all the money back to me and open my own lodge, So
you know what that means? By the time this episode airs, her safari should be up and running. So hit up Lerato and links below, and go ahead and serve your Lion King dreams as well.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited for you to do that, and I also love your how do I bring my money back to me?
You have to multiple streams of income, right?
Absolutely. So what else you have going on? So you have the empowerment business, women empowerment business. You have your lodge that you're starting to open up. You have your travel agency. Is there anything else you have going on, or?
So basically that's about it. I mean, just doing.
That's not enough.
Yeah, that's enough.
You're not busy at all.
Sound like you definitely have your hands full.
Yeah, no, it's quite a lot actually, the travel, because what I offer differently, I think, is going and experiencing a place before actually recommending it to my clients. So it's more custom related. So I experience, so that I think with travel agencies, they meet you all the way up to when you go, then they really don't care. So I think for me, it was bridging that gap and actually realizing that you need to be with the person, especially for first-time travelers, and actually make sure that you are aware that you are with them and they are aware that you're with them. And also, I meet people at the airport if they haven't done any international travels. So it's very personal. It's a personal experience that they get to have. And that's what keeps people coming back, because you give them a personal experience. I think I know that I'm sitting on a mine here, and it's quite lucrative. So
you've got my attention as somebody who has no idea what she's doing 90% of the time. I'm like, I would love somebody to just help me figure out how to get through this, and then tell me where to go and give me options of what I might be interested in. And I'm like, that sounds amazing, and also less work for me, because a vacation should be relaxing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So it's like a turnkey service. Not only you the travel agent, you the concierge as well.
Absolutely that. And I mean, I also kind of, if you're going to a different country with obviously a different language, I always give you a little booklet or even whatever it is that I can, just to help you out with the few words, just so that you know and you familiarize yourself with the country's lingo. So yeah, it's very personal. It's a very personal little package that I offer. So yeah.
I love it. Sign me up, for real. I'm going to be contacting you.
There you go. Well, Lerato, oh my God, that was a wealth of knowledge. You dropped the best gems ever on us. I appreciate it. I hope our audience in America appreciate it as much as Gina and I appreciate it. South Africa, you have a gem in your backyard. I hope y'all utilize it, because I know our American viewers are definitely going to hit up those links immediately. But before we let you go, Lee, so I think of the week is where we share with our viewers something that was impactful or inspiring to us throughout the week. And we provide those gems like you've been dropping throughout this episode on our viewers and our listeners, so that they could take that and cherish that throughout the week until the next time we see them. So without further ado, my thing of the week is this. My thing of the week is to remember everything you think or say out loud will come into fruition. What does that mean? That means we need to manifest whatever it is we want in life. If you want to live happy, if you want to live a happy life, then that's the way that you have to think, and those are the words you must say. If you want to live a healthy life, that is the way you have to think, and those are the words you must say out loud. So to say, I want to look fit, or I want the world to perceive me as a good-looking, fit individual, first, I must believe that within myself. I must say it, I must feel it, I must think it, so I can manifest it into the world, into reality, that everyone else could feel it, think it, and perceive that about me as well. So I challenge you all, wherever it is that you would like to be in your life, manifest that into reality. Don't tell yourself that you're fat and you need to lose 5 pounds if you want yourself to be looked at as an icon or some type of fit individual. Don't tell yourself the opposite of what you want to be. Manifest your dreams into reality. You could do it, because I'm living my motto self, and it seemed like our guest, and I know my co-host is as well. Coach Phoenix, or Model Life Coaching. Coach Gina.
Cheers to that. I'm going to start manifesting Batman.
Appreciate that.
So my thing of the week, actually, again, Phoenix somehow ties very closely into your thing of the week.
Always.
So my thing of the week is actually a quote from Audrey Hepburn, which says, "For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only words of kindness. And for poise, walk with the knowledge that you are never alone."
Wow, that sounds like a queen to me.
That is so
good job. Good job, Gina. Lee, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for adjusting to our time differences. This show is amazing. Individuals, everyone, make sure you hit up her link, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, subscribe again, hit up Lee, like, follow, hit up Coach Gina, like, follow, Coach Phoenix, Toast with the Coaches. We love you, and we out.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.